Being the royals, it's never that ordinary. Sandringham in North Norfolk is no country cottage set in 20,000 acres of fields and forest. 52 royal and guest bedrooms, almost 200 staff bedrooms, 78 bathrooms, plus its own ballroom.
Who stay at Sandringham as a housekeeper and the maids and the groundstaff and the gardeners, and they look after the house even when the Queen isn't there.
And if the Queen has a full house, which is how she absolutely loves Christmas, some of the royals are put into staff cottages and other cottages on the estate.
Despite its grandeur, this is where the Queen truly feels at home.
Sandringham is a royal home and it has a feel of intimacy about it. The rooms aren't as baronial as those at Windsor Castle, but they're pretty impressive nonetheless.
And without doubt, isn't this a Christmas scene we'd all like to take a sneak peek at?
Listen, I think it'd be interesting to spend Christmas Day with the royal family. I'd enjoy it, I think.
The royal family's Christmas is sort of, I don't know, it's like being stuck in a time warp, really, isn't it? It's castles, it's too much tweed.
I would petition to be sat at the kids' table. I don't want to be near any of the royal family once they've had a drop of alcohol. Everything is fraught with danger.
I think once they're on their own and it's Christmas, I think they may let their hair down a bit, have a bit of fun.
While the Queen wants everyone to enjoy themselves, nothing is left to chance. The Queen starts her Christmas preparations early. While the rest of the country is basking in the sunshine on their summer holidays, the Queen is in Balmoral and is personally signing all 750 of her Christmas cards in August.
Everything is planned down to the very last detail. The floral arrangements, the food, and everything is signed off by the Queen.
Sandringham would need 5 chefs. 1 on the pastry section, you've got 1 doing the vegetables, 1 doing the sauces, 1 in the larder, and of course, you know, the senior chef sort of overseeing everything that went on. And you were feeding about 100 people in the dining room.
The menu doesn't change, it stays the same from year to year. It's often written in French.
French has always been the culinary language for all time. The Queen speaks fluent French. She just thinks it's normal.
Once the big plans are made, the Queen's eye turns to the finer details. So she heads to Sandringham early, the Thursday before Christmas. These days, she takes public transport.
Her Majesty goes by train to Sandringham and has her own compartment. It's a public train.
She always takes the morning train and she always books the first-class carriage. So if you're a lucky commuter, you might just get to catch a glimpse of the monarch boarding that first-class carriage.
The train leaves on time. Not many trains leave on time, but this particular one does leave on.
Once she's arrived, one thing the Queen is expected to do is check out the Christmas trees.
There is never a shortage of Christmas trees because the Queen has a farm on which Christmas trees are grown in Sandringham.
The farm produces around 1,000 Christmas trees, which are sold locally, though the Queen gets first pick, obviously. The whole tradition of Christmas trees was started by the Queen's ancestors.
Christmas was more or less invented by Prince Albert. I mean, he brought that whole Christmas tree tradition from Germany to Great Britain in the mid-19th century.
So really, we do have the royal family to thank for the quite unusual tradition of bringing an outdoor tree indoors to light and celebrate Christmas.
There is one tree the Queen likes to have the final say on, the tree that goes into the dining room where the presents are laid on Christmas Eve.
She likes to decorate that tree with the younger members of the royal family. It's such fun, hanging on the last pieces of tinsel and those baubles with Granny.
The Queen is also a great lover and believer in tradition, so she still dresses one of the Christmas trees at Sandringham in the glass handmade decorations that Queen Victoria used to use.
On Christmas Eve, the months of organising all come together.
The royals run their Christmas in a sort of military style. It's all quite well timed. One of the things I don't like, certainly about my Christmas, is the fact that it's just a complete panic.
Members of the royal family arriving at Sandringham for Christmas know exactly what to expect.
Everybody knows, dare I say, they know their place in the pecking order.
The Queen is there to greet everybody, but the members of the royal family arrive in seniority.
For example, Mike and Zara Tyndall, they're way down the pecking order, so they might well arrive first.
The Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall are the last royals to arrive, being the most senior royals after the Queen.
And on arrival, they're treated like royalty, even down to unpacking their cases and making them feel at home.
Wouldn't like 'em opening up my suitcase, though. No. They know everything. Then they know what underpants you wear. Oh, no.
As young boys, William and Harry got the chance to play on the Queen's very own vintage fire engine.
What could be more magical than for two little boys who are about 3 and 5 with their first cousins, Zara and Peter, being treated to an authentic, original moment for any child. Any child.
Until recently, William and Harry had their own Christmas traditions at Sandringham. Their annual kickabout, Royals versus Staff.
William an Aston Villa fan, Harry an Arsenal fan, both of them on different teams in their kits, playing with friends and playing with some courtiers. And this football match on Christmas Eve became very much a tradition.
I'd be the referee, I think. I couldn't run up and down much. I'd be the referee and I made sure the Aston Villa side won it. Yeah, I'd cheat a bit. I'd let the staff win.
Harry and William, when they were teenagers, were enormously competitive. They didn't hold back. I mean, you know, they would chop each other down if they were going for the ball together.
Can you imagine Prince Philip in goal at 99?
How are you, sir? Are you well, sir?
Well, do I look ill?
Duke of Edinburgh, I think, actually be quite good at football. I think he'd take no prisoners, a bit of a Vinnie Jones. You know, just some broken bones, put it that way. I think there'll be a couple of butlers being taken off on a stretcher.
Once the final whistle's gone, the royals turn to another tradition, the delivery of the Christmas hamper. And it's a corker.
The Royal Christmas Hamper, of course, comes from the Queen's Greengrocers, Fortnum and Masons in Piccadilly. And it's like an Aladdin's cave, really.
It really is a hamper like no other, packed with hundreds of the Queen's favourite treats.
There's everything from turkey and ham and foie gras.
But not just any foie gras, this is a foie gras en croûte.
To champagne and claret.
Stilton, chutney, foods that I can't even pronounce but would love also to eat.
Chocolates and goodies to eat after dinner. And it comes in an enormous laundry hamper with F&M on the side. It's a sign of class.
Coming up, royal Christmas presents. But what do you buy the woman who has everything?
Topping the list of best present ever, everyone's favourite Prince Harry got his grandma, Queen, a shower cap, which says...
The Royal Christmas at Sandringham. Christmas Eve is when the family arrives. It's also when they break with British tradition.
In keeping with their German roots, the royals open presents on Christmas Eve, which isn't just a nod to their history, it's also actually quite practical. Christmas Day is very much a religious day for the Queen, so really, opening presents on Christmas Eve makes sense.
So they have tea first, and then the lights go out, the drawing room doors open, and let loose. There's ripping, there's tearing, there's sharing, and they have fun, away from the prying eyes of the staff.
This is really the moment that the children and the grandchildren love because, you know, on the signal from the Queen, they can all just pile in and start ripping off the wrapping paper and see what they've been given.
While some of us would have sleepless nights about getting the perfect present, there's one golden rule which, if followed, means you can't go wrong.
She's got everything anyone could possibly need, so you have to think of something which she might use.
For the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh, thermals. Cashmere bed sock. Yeah, I'd give those sort of things. Keep them warm.
You're secretly hoping that, you know, everyone gets a Ferrari or, you know, you'll get Barbados. But actually you don't.
The kind of trend at the palace is only to get gag gifts. They get stuff, basically, each of them sends sort of a courtier to Tiger. They buy up the place.
And if you can achieve something that's tongue-in-cheek and will have the Queen laughing, then you've really done well that Christmas.
Yes, what the royals really want is a present that will make them laugh.
The more kitsch, the better. Nothing ostentatious or terribly expensive or lavish. That doesn't really go down very well with the Queen.
When William and Harry were thinking of presents to give to Grand and Grandpa, Harry thought he'd give a pool of plastic sick. Because that would be fun, wouldn't it? William and Harry were always the jokers. And I remember the Queen exclaiming one day when she lifted the lid on the sugar base and there was a fly in the sugar. Of course, it wasn't a real fly. It was a plastic fly put there by Prince Harry.
The Duke of Edinburgh, again, loves a good laugh. And when Prince Harry put a whoopee cushion under his seat, he found that hilarious, as did everyone else.
Of all the royals, it's Harry who embraces the gag gift culture.
I remember one year, Prince Harry, unmarried in those days, was spotted at Selfridges buying a feathered thong. Now, we all wondered who on earth this was going to be going to.
Topping the list of best present ever, everyone's favourite Prince Harry got his grandma, the Queen, a shower cap, which says, "Ain't life a bitch?"
Useful shower cap. Now, you know the Queen's hair is always impeccable.
I think she'd have taken off her paper crown and put that on, and everyone would have howled with laughter. Oh, Mother, you're so funny. Well done. Ha, ha, ha. Where's Andrew?
As I know the Queen doesn't take a shower, no. Don't think it would have been worn. The Queen likes to take a bath.
Meghan's present of a singing hamster to the Queen was a huge hit, especially when the dogs found it.
I presume a furry clogs. Good present for the corgis. Not so good for the Queen.
And there's Princess Anne's gift of a toilet seat to her elder brother.
Of course, the royals love lavatorial humour. It's the public school upbringing. And why wouldn't Prince Charles like a white leather loo seat from his sister Anne? Of course he would.
What did we used to call the loo? We used to call it the throne. You go and sit on the throne. So giving him a leather-bound loo seat was really Princess Anne's way of saying, well, here you are, you've got your own personal throne.
Sometimes, though, the presents really do come in use.
Prince Philip loved to cook on the grill, and especially at Sandringham. And I know that one of his gifts, someone bought him a pepper mill with, when you pressed it, there was a torch on the end, and so you could see what you were putting the pepper on, and he absolutely adored that.
They tend to give each other practical things. The Queen, for example, often gets pairs of rubber gloves for washing up, and yes, she does do the washing up, particularly on those picnics that the royals like up in Scotland.
One of the things I kind of like about the royal family is that they're not actually as posh as people assume they are. So they have stuff in Tupperware, and they probably would be wearing paper hats. Queen would probably be wearing an amusing paper crown.
After the presents, time for the royal black tie and ball gown supper. One occasion when the men dress to impress.
The men wear Windsor coats. They're a gift from the Queen. So instead of a black dinner jacket, you wear a Windsor jacket, which has red lapels. A jacket to wear if you are in the family.
The Christmas Eve formal dinner marks the first of the festive meals, the most extraordinary food made with only the finest ingredients and cooked to perfection.
It doesn't just start the day before Christmas. It's weeks and weeks and weeks before. There's so much planning involved. You've got to order all the turkeys. The Christmas puddings have to be made. And the way Sandringham worked is there was no equipment there. Because Sandringham was used by the Prince of Wales, the Queen's chefs didn't leave any equipment there in the kitchens because we'd lose it.
The royals reserved Christmas Eve for one of their best meals of the festive holiday, the menu filled with the Queen's favourites.
It tends to be locally caught shrimps to start, and then either game or duck or Norfolk lamb, followed by something like a tarte tatin or a soufflé for pudding.
And what would Christmas be without chocolate?
Well, the Queen is known for having a sweet tooth. She absolutely loves chocolate. And one of the Queen's favourite dishes is the chocolate perfection pudding.
It's a rich pastry shell, and then in there it has a layer of cinnamon meringue, and then some whipped cream on top of that, and then lots of grated chocolate on top of that as well. So when you cut into it, there are all these layers. And it's just so rich and so creamy, and it's just the perfect pudding for that time of year at Christmas.
But it's not just about the food. Accompanying every course, a selection of the finest wines, and the Queen knows exactly what she wants.
The Queen particularly likes champagne and white wines. So Christmas isn't Christmas without a bottle of Krug or a bottle of Chateau Margaux. But then you don't just need one, do you? You'll need a dozen at least.
Like most of us, the Queen enjoys the spirit of Christmas.
The royals like a drink, we all know that, and Her Majesty is no exception. At lunchtime she will have a gin and dubonnet. Half gin, half dubonnet, 2 lumps of ice and a slice of lemon. When she comes down to the drawing room, she would like a martini, maybe 2. And then a glass of wine at dinner, maybe 2.
So, basically, gin, generous portion, because it's Christmas. And then dubonnet, and just same portion as the gin. So basically it's a pint. And then Happy Christmas, Your Highness. Oh, Jesus.
But there's a couple of things you won't find on the royal menu.
No garlic. Garlic is not served in royal food.
We couldn't use it on the menu when she was at the table. I don't think she hated it. I think it's just something that was considered antisocial.
It's not very pleasant secondhand. And she knows that she has to meet a lot of people.
Seafood is also something that she is quite wary about eating, as is the Duke of Edinburgh. And the one thing you absolutely won't find on the Christmas royal table are oysters. They may be a delicacy, and many people do enjoy them at this time of year, but not the royals.
After such sumptuous food and drink, there is one rumoured ritual which proves what a good time the royal guests have had. It dates back to King Edward VII's time, more than 100 years ago.
Rumour has it that guests are weighed upon arrival at Sandringham and weighed again on a pair of old royal scales to make sure that they have been properly fed during their stay.
As Christmas Eve draws to a close, there is one final tradition the Queen still does every year.
The Queen still, to this day, makes Christmas stockings for her children out of her old stockings, filled with an orange, an apple, a handful of nuts, some coins, and a present. It could be a tie or a headscarf or something.
You know, she really makes sure that everybody trinkets in.
And she likes to deliver those to the rooms of her children. So every year, Charles, Andrew, Edward and Anne still get a Christmas stocking from their mother.
Being the royals, it's never that ordinary. Sandringham in North Norfolk is no country cottage set in 20,000 acres of fields and forest. 52 royal and guest bedrooms, almost 200 staff bedrooms, 78 bathrooms, plus its own ballroom.
Who stay at Sandringham as a housekeeper and the maids and the groundstaff and the gardeners, and they look after the house even when the Queen isn't there.
And if the Queen has a full house, which is how she absolutely loves Christmas, some of the royals are put into staff cottages and other cottages on the estate.
Despite its grandeur, this is where the Queen truly feels at home.
Sandringham is a royal home and it has a feel of intimacy about it. The rooms aren't as baronial as those at Windsor Castle, but they're pretty impressive nonetheless.